the Healthy Happy Hour. Today we're making beef stroganoff. Check this out. Now, this is eye of round steak. You probably never heard of that because it's really a cheap cut of steak. This steak was $6.99 a pound. That's because it's very cheap. And when you're making beef stroganoff, you can use cheap cuts like that because we're going to be cutting it into strips, and that tenderizes it. So that's one of the good things about this. It's a cheap meal. And by the way, Debbie reminded me of this. I wanted to let you know about last week's show. Last week, we were outside at the grill area, and my phone overheated. So it cut off a few times. You know how iPhones are. If it gets too hot, they'll cut off. So we had to restart a couple of times because we had to let the phone cool down. So anyway, hopefully we won't have that problem now that we're back in the kitchen tonight. So we look forward to that.
We have Richard Whitworth.
Hey, Ricky. How you doing, man?
Randy Zimmerman.
Randy. Hey, good to see you, Randy. I hope you're doing well. Man, Randy has had such a battle, and I'm glad to see him doing well and going back on program right now with us.
Looks like June Boozer is watching.
June what?
Boozer, Boozer.
I don't know June. June, it's good to have you on the line with us.
Jimmy Robinson.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? Huh?
Of course.
Of course. I'm going to use zucchini noodles tonight. You know, normally stroganoff is done with egg noodles. Well, we're using the much healthier zucchini noodles. I'll tell you how I'm going to make them. I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them into about 3/4 inch strips. And I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do it like that. And I'm going to do this one about in half. And I'm going to cut a little bit of the edge off here to give us a good edge. We're going to be using a mandolin for this. So I'm just going to throw this, this part away. Yeah, go on that side, sweetie.
Stacy Coker's watching.
Hey, Stacy. Hope everything's going well in your world today.
Vinny's watching.
Vinny's been wondering. He's been wanting this beef stroganoff meal. So I guarantee you, Vinny's going to be fixing this for Anna tomorrow.
Right.
So, like I said, $6.99 at Quality Foods per pound on this eye of round steak. Now, you can use ground hamburger. You know, stroganoff it came from 1871. It started out in Russia, and it started out with a chef in the Stroganoff family. So that's where it comes from. It's a Russian dish, the Stroganoff family. They started this, and it became beef stroganoff somehow or another in our lexicon. So that's what it is. All right, so now we're making noodles. Now check this out. I'm using the little corrugated thing. So I want as much surface area as I can here because I want these noodles. I want to take these noodles and I want to salt them. So we're going to take out all this extra moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing in because I will wind up cutting my hand off. Yeah. And I mean, that blade is super sharp and I don't need a serrated blade. I'll put that aside. Okay, so let's go with these. And that's why I cut this end off here so we could go with this like so. Oh, just knocked my blade completely off. Man, you never know what's gonna happen when you're going live, correct? All right, so let me grab this. Probably be wise if I rinsed it off a little bit. And now we're back good as new. I think that's got a lock on it. I think I didn't have it locked. There we go. Huh.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, now where is my zucchini that I was doing? You know, zucchini is such a versatile vegetable.
It really
Man,
is.
you can use it for anything.
It can take on so many different flavors.
Yeah, it can. And the beauty of it is getting the salt out. I think that's one of the important things. Getting the moisture out, I'm sorry. And we're going to do that with salt. I'll show you how we do that in just a minute. By the way, Debbie wanted me to mention this. Monk fruit. That is the natural sweetener that is in most of if you're on our program with us, most everything is sweetened with monk fruit. It is a natural, low calorie or no calorie.
0 calorie.
Yeah, 0 calorie sweetener. It's very sweet. And I make her a jug of tea, which is a half gallon of tea. And I put a
cup.
Yeah, a cup of monk fruit, an even cup of monk fruit in it. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to go ahead and put them over here on this because we are going to salt these and let them sit for about 10 minutes salted.
They're very pretty, aren't they?
They're very different, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got those ridges in there, which gives the salt another opportunity to kind of get in. I'm not going to worry about getting them all flat necessarily. I just want to get as many of them as I can with the salt going on. So I'm going to do these other couple right here, and then we'll start on the steak, getting it ready to go.
Ashlyn Hardigree is watching.
Ashlyn, hey, I hope you're doing good today. It's good to hear all these new people coming on that we haven't seen before.
Charlie Seegers.
Charlie, hey man, I tell you what, Charlie got him a championship. And, well, his son got him a championship. Chris got the championship at Toccoa this year, so that was good. Charlie's a good friend. Man, we go back to the Peach State days. All right, here we go. We're going to do our last one right here. If I can get my little tentacles on this thing to hold on.
Kind of slippery.
Yeah.
Tina Gunn.
Tina, I hope you're doing good. Let's see if I can get this last one to go down here. Better pull it from the bottom side. I sure don't want to stick my hand on it. Okay, so we're going to take these items, and we're going to put them over here too and kind of spread them out a little bit. And I'm going to put salt on these. Now, it doesn't matter. I'm not using like 2 tablespoons of salt or 3 tablespoons. I'm just going to salt the heck out of it because we're going to come back and wash the salt off. The salt is not for seasoning. It's only trying to render some of the moisture out. So that's what we're doing with this. So I'll get all of these things in here. And we're just going to take some kosher salt. I'm using kosher salt for this. And we're just going to salt it. So a lot of salt. And we're going to let that sit right over here. And we'll run it through our colander in just a little while. After the moisture what do you call it? Moisture.
Wicks.
Wicks. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, sweetheart.
Rhonda Poole is watching.
Hey, Rhonda.
Rhonda, this is first time for Rhonda.
Yeah. Well, no, Rhonda's been on before.
Has she?
Yeah,
Danny
yes,
Gant.
Danny. Man, I tell you what, Terry Calhoun was in Danny's car again this weekend. And didn't have the results he did the weekend before when he won the race, but still, it was a decent race. So it calls for leeks. If you get the recipe from me, it will say leeks, but will also say, or substitute shallots. There were no leeks in town today. I looked everywhere, could not find leeks, which is a very mild onion. So the next closest thing to that mild onion is shallots. So these are little small onions right here, or little milder type onions. So we're going to put some shallots and get those ready. If you notice, I haven't even started on my beef yet. We're going to get all these ingredients prepped and ready to go. Then we'll go ahead and start with the beef. So let's see if I've got that. I think I need to take off one more layer of this because that's a little hard right there. Yeah. Last little layer coming off. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed some football this weekend. You know, it was our first weekend of college football, and we sure had a good time. Saturday night, we went to the Toccoa Elks Lodge for a Georgia watch party celebration and just had a magnificent time there. If you've never been part of an association like the Elks, and I was not a member for many, many, many years, although my sister and brother-in-law were very faithful members to it, I just never was. And we have enjoyed our association with the Elks so much over the last few months. Now, I'm going to take these. I just sharpened my knives today, so, you know, nothing cuts you worse than a dull knife. A sharp knife, you know exactly where it's going to go, and you can feel how it's going in. So a sharp knife is far better for you than a dull knife. And I'm going to cut these up into little bitty chunks like this. You know, a lot of people have, over the years, beef stroganoff has taken on many different things. In Brazil, they serve it in a tomato sauce base. A lot of people serve it with onions. A lot of people put mustard in it. There's just a number of different ways of doing it. We're not doing any of those things today. We're making it with sour cream, less low-fat sour cream. We're also making it with some yogurt, which is deviates from the normal
Is it Greek
recipe.
yogurt?
It is Greek yogurt, sweetheart.
Is it organic?
It is organic. Well, I don't know if it's organic or not. I don't have the thing out here. I don't think I had organic on my list today.
That gets a real high rating, the organic Greek yogurt on Yucca.
Yeah, tell about our new program that Vinny turned us on to. Vinny Livingston turned us on to this new program, and we've got it on our phones now.
If you download the app Yucca, Y-U-K-A, it'll take a while to download, but nevertheless, once you get it downloaded, you can scan a barcode or type in a particular product from the store, and it will give you a rating from 1 to 100 as far as healthy. And it'll say like 35 out of 100, or higher.
Whatever,
and,
yeah.
And the yogurt was pretty high. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but it was very healthy for you.
And some of the things you would think would be very high are not at all. They're 8 or 10 or something out of 100.
That's the truth.
You really need to, and all you have to do is scan the barcode, just like they would scan when they check you out.
That's right.
And it's a tremendous program. We're very pleased with it. So thanks to Vinny for letting us know about that.
Joyce Lance is watching.
Hey, Joyce, man, it's good to hear from you. I hope y'all are doing well. Miss the Lance family and Miss Hartwell Speedway enjoyed a lot of good years.
Oh, that's the Lances. Okay.
That's the Lances, yeah. All right, now we're going to take our beef, and I'm going to cut this diagonally across. This does a number of things. This is going to tenderize it because you're cutting across the muscle fibers. So we're going to cut across the muscle fibers and diagonally, and also the attitude that you turn the you cut across it diagonally and also longitudinally. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, you cut it on the bias. That's it. You cut it on the bias and you cut it at a diagonal. There we go. That's what I was trying to shoot for. And so this is going to give us some nice strips to have for our beef stroganoff. Now, I've made this over the years with ground beef. I've made it with cubed beef. That's how it started out, was like a New York strip or a filet mignon, a really nice cut of beef, but in cubes. Well, whenever you're using a cheap cut of meat like this, you need to be able to tenderize it a little bit. That's why we're doing these long strips. Now, I'm using 2 pounds of eye of round.
I've never heard of that. Eye of round.
Eye of round, yeah.
How is that different from just round steak?
That's a good question. Next week I'll have you an answer for that.
Okay.
I'll consult with my people and they'll get back to your people. That's an old Mac Potts line. By the way, Mac and I are doing the tailgate show for Stevens County again this week. We're looking forward to that. We'll be at the reservation on Friday night as they host our friends from Dawson County. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun time.
Isn't the team doing great?
Yep, Stevens County's doing great. Georgia got off to a little slow start, but Georgia looks like they're going to be pretty good. They have Ball State coming in this weekend. And of course, we always root for Clemson too. They're actually closer to us in proximity from our house than the University of Georgia is, although we're kind of red and black through and through. But our friends at Clemson had a little different route last night.
As you can tell from our walls in our kitchen, we are Red fans.
Yeah, we're Red fans. Yeah, Debbie, when she first said we're going to do red walls in our kitchen, I did not envision this particular red, but I have loved it. And tell them how difficult it is to paint red.
Oh, yeah. I bet I put 5, 6 coats.
I think we put like 10 or 11 coats. No, red doesn't cover well. It is a clear base. It's not a solid base or a rich base like other things. It is a clear base. Right. So that means it's gonna be see-through, sort of. So we finally found out, here's a pro tip for you. We finally found out that if you will paint and prime your sheetrock, the color of sheetrock, in other words, all the white spaces where the sheetrock mud was put, if you'll make that the same color as the sheetrock, then everything will be a little nicer. So we determined, we tried black, we tried all different kinds of colors of primer, and it turned out that gray, a light gray, was the best primer to put under red. It made everything work out so well. So, needless to say, we won't be repainting red again anytime soon.
No, we won't.
But we love our red. We love our yellow kitchen. Take a look at the kitchen. This is an unusual finish. The finish I put on these cabinets, of course, Debbie and I do all of our work ourselves. We built the kitchen and so forth and designed it. The finish we put on this is a 7-step finish. You start out with yellow. You paint everything yellow. Of course, that's yellow lacquer. You do it in spray booth. Then you come back from the yellow and you put a coat of clear on it. Then you take chains and beat it and do all kind of crazy things to it to antique it and scrape it up and make it look like it's old, sand out some areas. And did you show them some of the antique areas?
I did.
Yeah. And then you stain it with just regular wood stain. And then you wipe all the stain off, and that gives it kind of an old look, kind of a worn
what's
out
wonderful
look.
about it is, it doesn't show dirt or dings that you may get into your cabinetry. So it just is beautiful.
And one of the last steps you do is you go in and you put white latex paint.
And
You completely paint it, and then you wipe every bit of the paint off that you can, and the white hangs in the cracks and gives it that aged look. So that's what happens with all of that. All right, now we're going to start cooking. Going to move this platter out of the way, and I've got
a lot of beef.
Lot of beef. Where's the beef? The beef's right here. Claire, what was Claire's last name?
What are you sprinkling? Salt?
This is just salt. Yeah, put a little salt on it just to give it a little bit of seasoning as we get ready to go with it. Now, since this is beef, I'm going to wash my hands again.
We have some unhappy birds, as you can see through our...
I didn't hear them. Are they?
Yes, they're fussing.
Oh, okay. Well, never know about those birds.
They're like an old couple. They fuss at each other.
Speaking of birds, our son-in-law, Rob Bird, celebrating a birthday today.
Yes.
They are in Jamaica. We're going down to visit them soon. So anyway, all the beef.
Okay, you're going to brown it?
I panned my pan. So all the beef is going in.
Richard Whitworth is watching.
Ricky, well, he was on earlier.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Paul Edwards.
Hey, who?
Paul Edwards.
Oh, hey, Paul. Yeah, Paul and I worked together for a lot of years, too. He's an old TV station person. I shouldn't say old. He is a person I worked with at the TV station. That's all I know. I'm old, but I don't have to call everybody else old, right? All right, just going to chop up these button mushrooms. I've washed them off earlier. You know, the best way to do these is take a wet paper towel and just do your best to try to clean them. These had a lot of...
speaking of cleaning things,
dirt.
I think what is interesting is eggs and how once you wash them, you have to refrigerate them.
Yeah, it washes off.
I don't know if everybody knows that or not.
Protective coating.
Yeah.
Yeah, in China, they don't ever refrigerate eggs. You go to the grocery store and they're just sitting out right in the middle of an aisle. They don't have refrigerated eggs at all in China. And they say it's a different situation. It's different because, I don't know, but they say it's different. The chickens over there, or the processing of the eggs, is different, and that's why it's not necessary to have to refrigerate them in China. But they also have a lot of creepy crawly things that are running up barrels and things like that right in the middle of this store too. It's like Walmart was like a seafood market. Unbelievable.
Does. Very strange.
Yeah. Weird times in China, but I enjoyed my trip to China. I'm not sure Debbie enjoyed it as much as I did. Okay, into the pan goes the shrooms as well. Now those will cook down about like the beef will, about 4 or 5 minutes, and we're going to let them do their thing. We're going to put the shallots in just a little while. We want this to cook down. So we got the heat up on high, and we're just going to let all this brown and cook kind of together.
It's already looking good.
Isn't it looking good?
Mm-hmm. I love beef stroganoff.
Yeah, it's going to taste really, really good. Oh, we got an escapee from Alcatraz there.
Mushroom?
Yeah. By the way, our program brought to you by Quality Foods on the Town Plaza Shopping Center and Store. I was there today, and of course, when I'm in there, I wear my yellow hat, and everybody wants to know, what are you cooking tonight? So I'm always happy to tell them what we're cooking tonight. And good to see everybody at Quality Foods. Also, it's brought to you by our program, our business, which is America's #1 health solution. Mm-hmm. And we are America's #1. We beat out Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem combined. Success stories everywhere. And Debbie wanted me to tell you this. I hate to mention it here, but where else can you have a part-time job that you make $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 a month? That's what we do, part-time. Man, it's just fantastic. So it has been a tremendous thing for us. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to do this. Debbie wanted to do it to lose weight. I didn't think I was overweight at 275 pounds. I just knew we needed to make some money. So that's why we chose to do this, or I chose to do it, or I said yes to it, was because of that. Now, Debbie knew we had the health issues.
Well,
I wasn't so sold on it. What?
Ashley Gregory's watching.
Hey, Ashley, how are you? Who else? I'm sorry.
Catherine Connor.
Catherine. Hope you're doing okay. I didn't see where.
Hope everybody's doing fine tonight.
Yeah, I tend to say that to everybody that watches. Hey, Ashley, I've got a couple of your recipes. I'm going to be doing one of these days. I've got a backlog of recipes right now. And honestly, when I decided to do the Labor Day show last week and did what I did in that show, that kind of put me behind because I wasn't expecting. Labor Day kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah.
And I fixed a lot of stuff last week, almost too much stuff to try to have on a show. Yeah, I like a one dish deal like this. That's kind of good. Now let's go over here and see how much Yeah, see, look at my paper towel is wet. Look at all that moisture coming off of these things. That's good. That's gonna
glistening.
It's gonna do well. Yeah. Okay, so now we're just kind of waiting on things to get happy and to do its thing. There we go. I got it on as high a heat as I can get, sweetie. So we need the mushrooms to reduce down. We need the onions to get translucent, and we need the meat to brown a little bit. Don't really want it brown so much as just cooked through. So about 5 or 6 minutes on each side. Now let me show you what else we're putting in here. Almond flour. We're using that. We're also using beef broth. We've got a little bit of almond milk that's going in. Here's the sour cream. Here's the yogurt, 1 cup of yogurt, ½ cup of sour cream. We've got some onion powder going in. We've got celery seed, black pepper, paprika, some more salt. We're gonna thicken it with xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is a great thickener, and of course a little garnish to go on top, some parsley.
We have a question.
Yes, what's the
Paul
question?
Edwards is asking, what are your thoughts on eating starchy foods when losing weight?
No. Starchy foods, that is carbs. Losing weight, people think that they're going to lose weight in the gym. That doesn't prove to be helpful. The gym can help you tone up. Matter of fact, most of the people who go to gyms, they actually get bigger. But because they're converting fat into muscle, we believe that you shouldn't go to the gym, that you should not build a layer of muscle underneath a layer of fat. Now, starchy foods, that's where your carbs come from. Most diets that are effective are what we call ketogenic, which doesn't mean they're keto, but it means that you're going to burn your own body fat. There's a difference between the keto diet and being a ketogenic diet. So you're going to be burning your own body fat. That's what our program does. On the 4th day you're on our program, you will go into ketosis, which means you start burning your own body fat. That's a very important thing. I'll tell you a little bit about this. We are on the upper end of the ketogenic scale. You know why keto doesn't work, why Atkins and those don't work as well? Now, they work, but not as well as what ours does, because when you're on them, they try to limit your carbs down to about 20 grams or maybe 30 grams or eliminate them almost totally out of your diet. Well, you're craving them so bad that you want to go in then and just eat everything in sight whenever you get off the program. Well, we put you at about 85 grams of carbs. Anytime you stay under about 115, you're still burning your own body fat. So we keep you at about 85. That way you don't have those cravings for the carbs all the time. You may lose weight a little slower. I can't imagine how you could lose it slower than I did at 120 pounds in 9 months. But you may lose weight a little slower by doing it that way, but it's far more effective and it'll help you out in the long haul. So I guess that's a long way of saying carbs can be bad for you. Watch your carb intake.
Susie Bennett is watching, and Daniel Marchman.
Daniel is a new friend. Of course, I've watched him race forever, but Daniel's a new friend to me on Facebook, at least on this page. Yeah, see, the mushrooms are reducing down. There's some juices that's now. Translucent. We got some juice going on. We got our meat really getting good and tender.
It smells so good.
It smells so good, doesn't it? I want to let that go just a couple more minutes. Then we're going to start building everything from that. Okay, so I want to get a bowl to put that in. Let's see if I got a bowl big enough to put all that in.
What about one of the silver?
Yeah, let me get one of my big bowls down here. By the way, people sometimes they ask me about our utensils. Well, our saucepans.
He's laughing because
Debbie feels vindicated because somebody actually said there were saucepans the other day. Or said there were skewers. Yeah, skewers. But our saucepans are Emerald Lagasse brand saucepans, and they have been very good. And our big mixing bowls, these are Wolfgang Puck mixing bowls.
You can see how tattered they are. We've had them so long.
Oh, gosh, we've had them forever, and they're doing really, really well. I want to try to reduce all that. I want to leave some of the grease and the rendering, but I want to get the water out of it. So I'm going to let that go just a little longer to get that out of it. The longer it goes, honestly, the more tender this meat's going to get.
Aren't we going to need all the liquid?
No, I got liquid to put in it. That's why I've got all this stuff to put in.
I see, okay.
I was telling you about some of the variations. You know, some places put mustard in it. Some places put tomato sauce in beef stroganoff.
No.
Some places put like a marsala wine
Mm-hmm.
in there. This recipe doesn't call for any of that. It just calls for the beef, the mushrooms, and then all of these goodies we're going to put in. So
Jimmy
that's getting
Harris
ready to
is
come.
watching.
Who?
Jimmy Harris.
Hey, Jimmy. Man, I think you got a building for rent downtown. I'm hoping that's going to go soon, Jimmy. I want to see downtown filled up as soon as possible. I think you may have, or maybe it's already been rented. I don't know. I'm kind of out of touch on the downtown location. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take this out now. I'm going to reduce the heat here. This is over a very high heat burner, so I'm going to reduce the heat and put all of this in there. Probably should have gotten a different utensil, but this will get it there eventually.
Yeah.
I love these little tongs. These were my sister's tongs. And when she passed away right at a year ago, little less than a year ago, I wanted these tongs. That reminds me of her every time I use them. So she was a good one. She was 13 years older than me. Very unexpected that she passed away. But that was one of those things that, happens to us in life sometime.
Yeah.
But as they say, she is in a far better place. If we knew what heaven was like, we would want to leave this world and be there too. But that's not something I can even imagine, quite honestly, at this point. But I do like to think that, though. What'd you say, sweetheart?
You need a spoon for the remainder.
I've got a spoon over here. I'm just not using it. Okay, now it is time.
It is time.
It is time. Here goes 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to be making a roux. A roux is nothing more than, basically think of gravy. We're using almond flour, and you use equal parts. 3 tablespoons of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of oil. And we're going to just let that brown up a little bit. Again, I've got my heat reduced, and we're going to get some of these pan juices in there and some of this fond. Fond is that brown stuff that's on the pan.
Isn't this called deglazing?
No, deglazing comes whenever I put
I see. Okay.
the beef broth in. That'll deglaze. We're just making a roux right now. So basically we're just browning it and letting the oil infuse the flour. That's almond flour. Yeah, get nice and brown, making a little roux. And roux is R-O-U-X, by the way, not R-U-E, not like I rue the day. We were just watching a Frasier a few minutes ago, and he says that, I rue the day. Anyway, all right, so into this, we're going to now deglaze and put our beef broth in, and I'm going to turn the heat up. So the beef broth's going in, so now we can start to add some of these seasonings. So here goes the salt, a half teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and that's wanting to stick there, so we'll get the onion powder out.
Paul Mitzi is watching.
Hey, Paul. Gosh, Paul, I hadn't heard from you in the longest, man. Since y'all quit racing, I haven't seen you around. There's a paprika, and here is black pepper. So we're going to let that thicken up just a hair. And we're making, it's sort of like a gravy. You kind of like to have a little bit of gravy in there. So we're going to let that do its thing. And now, after this has done what it needs to do, we're going to put our beef back in. That didn't have to stay out long, but I did want to build that first. We're going to put the beef in. We're going to let that continue to simmer. We're going to put our milk in. This is almond milk, a half a cup of almond milk.
This is what's going to make it creamy.
Well, this is going to really cream it up right here. This is a half a cup of sour cream. This is reduced fat sour cream. Yeah, you can find that at the grocery store. We use the Club brand, which is the house brand at Quality Foods. So we're doing that using a spatula so I can get it all out. Here is our yogurt. This is a full cup of reduced fat, plain Greek yogurt. Don't use the almond or anything like that. Oh my goodness, no. Okay, now this is going to sit here and just do so nicely.
Kathy Mundy is watching.
Hey, Kathy. Kathy is a new friend. We've been talking here as of late, so it's good to have Kathy on here. Well, that looks so good. Oh,
Doesn't
man.
it, though?
I'm about ready to eat, sweetheart. What about you? Huh.
You still got the zucchini to go.
By the way, we also want to tell you about our church group. At Ebenezer, we are part of the H2O class. Bruce Henderson is our class director, our teacher, and we just enjoy the camaraderie there so much. We talk about community a lot in our work, our community of people in our health program. our community of people at church. And for so many of us, you know, we got out of the practice, I guess you'd say, of going to church and being part of community during COVID. And so now we have this opportunity to get back together again and start really connecting with each other. I think we realized how much we missed each other back during the day. Okay, sweetie, come on over here and let me show you. We're going to just pile all of this into this colander. Again, I told you we salted this liberally. Now, it doesn't hurt that we're going to wash this because we need to get all of the water off, and that's also all the salt off.
Will you paper towel it after that?
I will. I'm going to paper towel it over there on that. Well, I may take the paper towels off this one and put dry ones back down and get it going. So let's get all of this in here and just wash this salt off, and then we'll let it dry. Now, once we put it in the pan over there, if it's a little damp, that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. We're just going to make sure that we get all the salt.
Lebo, 3 minutes watching.
Lebo, what's happening, man? He told me the other night. He said it sure was good to hear you back on the microphone again. Well, I tell you what, I enjoyed it. It's always good to get back to the racetrack and see everybody and have fun on the air. Make stars out of those young people. That's what I like to do, is make stars out of those little kids out there and the young folks that are making their way in the racing world. Lord knows racing has been good to me, and I want to try to pay it back to everybody as much as I can. Okay. So here we go. We've got our zucchini just about ready to go in. I'm going to put, where's my oil? I've got oil right here. I'm going to put a tablespoon of olive oil in there. I want to reduce this heat down a little more. I've got to figure out how to reduce that down.
It's looking so good.
Now I want to reduce that down kind of low right there. Okay, so reduce that down. Now I want this to heat up a little bit. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Adam Rouse.
Adam, his wife Tiffany's on the program. She forgot to weigh
Wonderful.
this morning. She's got to let me know how she's doing today. Tuesday is her weigh day. Tiffany has done well. Bless her heart. Tiffany works at the Dairy Queen in Jefferson. How that's tough.
That's hard.
to work at the Dairy Queen and be part of this program. That's kind of tough. Okay, now these are our noodles. Yeah, this is you know how normally this is served over egg noodles. It can be served over a number of things. One of the recipes I saw called for cauliflower, riced cauliflower.
I've had it over baked potatoes.
Yeah, Debbie said she used to fix it over baked potatoes. Now let me tell you, we have substituted rutabagas for our potatoes.
Yeah,
Yesterday I made some potato salad, and I tell you what, rutabaga has just a little bit of taste to it. So in the potato salad yesterday, I put some Worcestershire sauce, and it did a great job of taking that little bit of taste away.
It tastes like regular potato salad.
It does.
I would never believe it.
Yep. And rutabaga was not a vegetable I was really familiar with. So we're going to let these, I should have probably cut these in half so they went more noodle-like. That was my intention, and I just failed to do it when I started doing this. But anyway, I would have cut them in half, and they would have been more egg noodle-like. But we're going to give these 3 or 4 minutes here just to
Paul
heat through.
Says that based on your cooking experience, losing weight and staying healthy, what's the best cooking oil?
Best cooking oil, Paul, is number 1, olive oil when you can use it. It has a low smoke point, though, so it starts to smoke if you start doing much more than saute. In other words, don't think about deep frying in it. However, the next best thing is canola oil. I keep canola oil out here, and yeah, I know you know where I got this bottle, but even though we don't drink, I like that Crown Royal bottle, but I keep my canola oil in that. And I also have sunflower oil that I use as a finishing oil right here sometimes. So I have a little bit of sunflower oil there that I use. But in this bottle is my olive oil. Now that's a cheap olive oil. That is not the really high dollar olive oil like this one. It's not the first press, robust, extra virgin olive oil. That's for salad dressings and really nice things like that. This is just plain old olive oil. I hope that answered your question, Paul.
He said his thoughts is the same.
Yeah. Canola is just really good. And after all, it's pretty much local. You know, we have a lot of canola fields around this area. All right, so while those continue to get happy, now I've got a little more salt. I'm going to put in these. Well, I guess I used it already. Yep. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt right there, just about a half a teaspoon of salt on these. Because remember, I washed all the salt off. Now we're not wanting to cook these through. We don't want them to get limp. We want these to be noodle-like, have a little bit of, not really crunch, but still have a little bit of integrity, I guess you'd say, to them. Now here I'm going to put in the xanthan gum. Again, if you're not familiar with xanthan gum, we're going to get the heat up because it needs to be boiling. It's sort of like an organic cornstarch. So we're going to put that in, and that's going to thicken all this up. It's natural. It's good for you. It's low calorie or almost no calorie. And xanthan gum is a great thickener to use anytime you need something thickened up. Yeah, I can already see it working. Yeah, isn't that great? Mm-hmm. So it's going to thicken up, and again, just like cornstarch or flour, it achieves its maximum when it's boiling. So we got that boiling up right there. Okay, sweetheart, golly, we are just about ready to roll here. Would you like a plateful, my love?
I would.
Okay. So we're going to plate these up today on our pretty little dishes right here. It is it's after Labor Day, so you can use flour dishes after Labor Day, correct?
Oh, you can. Okay. Just not white dishes.
Yeah, just not white dishes after Labor Day. Yeah. All right. So now this makes 4 servings. So we're going to try to get a 4th of this out, and so let's get you some.
Put it to the side.
Oh, you don't want it on top of your noodles?
Just right close to the side.
All right. So here's this. Let me get some more of the good gravy. Boy, that looks so good.
Looks very good.
Cannot wait to dig into that. So this is Debbie's. We're going to come back here now and just put a little parsley on it, and just a few sprigs of parsley. And I'm trying to learn from my buddy Jay on how to decorate things. I told him the other day, he's a professional chef, by the way, that works for the airlines. And I told him, I said, you always make everything look so pretty, and I don't know how to do that. So I am working on my presentation. That may be it. Anyway, that's it. That's beef stroganoff, and that's with eye of round steak. So check that out. And zucchini noodles. Hope you make it. What? Oh, yeah. Hope you make it and enjoy it. We're going to dig in just a minute, and we'll give you a review about it a little later. I got a feeling it's going to taste great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. Remember, if you're interested in getting healthy, I know you are, you wouldn't be watching this. Give me a holler. You wouldn't believe that we can help you get healthy for less money than you're spending on groceries right now. Debbie and I save about $150 a month over what we used to pay for groceries by being on our program and the little bit of groceries we buy now. So join me and let's get together and get healthy together, okay?
That's not to mention the opportunity to
yeah, Debbie wanted me to remind you that you know, we're doing part-time. It's just a little part-time thing, and we're making about $6,000-7,000 a month right now. In slow time, we have made as much as $12,000 a month, and we averaged $12,000 a month for a while. Yes, part-time, you can do it. Anybody can do it. I'll show you how. Y'all have a good day. We will see you later. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like it, hit the like button, and I will send you the recipe, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.